listen to yourself. I think there's a reason why religious traditions pray or meditate, because these actions of pray or meditate are essentially having some time to yourself, and you're listening to yourself.
Yeah.
You're having a conversation to yourself, and once you listen, it actually becomes quite clear what you should do, because you listen and think, right, I should get up early tomorrow and do this and do that. But then you've got the devil on your shoulder who's almost being like, no, stay up later, stay up wanking all night watching porn. And it's like, oh, that sounds like a good idea.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that, but this is not like how we have to approach this subject, like porn and wanking.
You can talk about that.
No,
they love that bit.
It's not good, man.
Well, I'm saying you shouldn't wank and watch porn. It's not the best idea.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
shouldn't
saying?
do that.
But it's the fact of the matter is, it's a temptation there.
Yeah.
To want to do what you shouldn't do.
Definitely.
And the whole point of being someone who's good or acting out as disciplined is someone who can battle with themselves in a way and actually come to a kind of balance of that devil and angel on your shoulder. Naturally, it's always something which is the easy thing to do. It's always easier for me to stay in bed for longer. It's always easier for me to stay up later all night watching porn or whatever. It's always easy to do these things.
Playing FIFA, better play games than...
Man, look, I'm not going to lie to you, man. It's just real. I'm being real, Mihai. Like, it's a fact. Like, boys, majority of people watching this are probably going to be lads. Girls are probably the same, but it's but I don't know if they do watch as much porn as boys. But the fact of the matter is...
I don't think they do.
No, I don't know.
I don't mind, though.
I think they're more into stories. I think they love their stories, sexual stuff. But anyway...
Yeah.
And they do like erotica, I think. I think that's they're more into erotica.
That's
kind of kinky, 50 Shades of Grey kind of vibe.
No, that's...
That was popular
If you
among
read
the women,
the book, I was ready to say, like, in my language, carte.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. If you read the book, it's much different. Because you don't have the images. You put it in your mind.
Well, that's just,
and you feel it different. You imagine yourself being there. Once you watch 50 Shades of Grey and saw the actors trying, and it's fake. It's not
it was. I haven't actually read 50 Shades of Grey, to be honest.
I did, but...
And I think it's the difference between... I think, generally speaking, I've read a few psychological studies, and you can use your common sense here as well, that there's a big difference between arousal between men and women. Generally, I think men are more visual, although it doesn't apply in all the cases, obviously. And women are much more psychological, which makes sense, I think. I think that does make sense, especially because I think porn is generally more of a male area, and then the stories they engage in psychology a lot more. It's a bit more for women. I think that's generally, what I've read. But what do I know?
Look, is this like... I think 50 Shades of Grey... They try to promote the BDSM, if I'm not wrong. Like they try to.
I don't think they're promoting it. I think it was
tied up and.
Yeah, but you know what it was, mate. I think most people are kind of kinky, and most people deny it. And I think
put it wrong.
Well, look,
in that film, it's wrong.
In the film, I haven't seen the film, haven't read the book, but just speaking from my analysis of people, I think it was kind of 50 Shades of Grey kind of tried to like make something taboo, and it kind of got a bit more mainstream. The fact of the matter is the whole BDSM thing. I think it just shows you the inner savage in us, the inner chimp. It's the animal instinct surfacing in a kind of fetishized way. Because if you suppress these instincts, they've got to come out somewhere. And obviously, we live a very civilized life now, so I think a lot of the excess shit. We almost we express this energy in a playful sexual environment, which is safe, consenting. Obviously, we can play with a consenting partner when you both come to it. Like this is what we like. That's fine, of course. And you'd rather have control over the fantasies rather than these fantasies being projected in real life without your awareness. So, I think playing with these things, playing with power in relationships in a sexual way is. It is quite healthy, I think, as long as it's done in a consenting way,
Yeah, but I think it's a wrong movie to go to see it watch it in a.
It's got to be read. It's more of a book, that kind of thing. I think it was meant to stay as a book. The
more
film was shit from what I've heard. I haven't seen. I've seen bits of it, and it was just like it looked proper cheesy because the whole kind of mysteriousness of it. It just once you make something into that film,
movie, 365 days. It is basically the same. And 50 Shades of Grey, they gave the power to the male character and the woman being sodomized. And that's wrong, right? In 365 days, the male still has the power but the female part is fighting against it. You know, they have like this good erotica with it's the flame in the middle. You know, in 50 Shades of Grey, I haven't seen that flame between the actors.
There wasn't there.
Yeah, and 365 days is more erotical than.
So what's 365? Is that a film? Or
yeah, it's a film.
It's it's the same kind of vibe.
Same kind of
vibe. Is it good? Is it?
Yeah, he's Italian.
Fabio Delice.
No, yeah, it's kind of Fabio Delice. No,
it could be a good 50 Shades.
Millionaire. He's millionaire.
Okay.
He's not Fabio. He's millionaire. So yeah, he's living in Sicily. Or I think it's Sicily.
Nice. Sicily, you know, I just associate like Italy with like proper like sex parties. You know, the masks, like the Like I would have loved to go like back in like the 1700s or whenever it was, like back with the old mask, going to like a proper sex party. You know, and you kind of
you know for what
you kind of like you just walk up to somebody, like. Hey, I wouldn't do it like that.
No, you wouldn't do it like that. You just go there to be the man, you know. Like, I am the power, but that mask parties, sex parties, whatever. They were amazing, man. I've seen as well, not porn, but erotic movies actually on Netflix because they try to promote these erotic shows, and it's I think I'm talking about Toy Boy or something. I've seen a scene with sex parties like that, man. But the women's, they are amazing there, not the males.
What? Sorry, sex parties.
The females.
Yeah.
They are more interesting than the male.
What? Where? Sorry.
In the sex parties.
Whereabouts sex parties?
In the
in Italy.
In anywhere, man.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think the man is the attraction there. I think the female.
Oh,
because
naturally,
if you want a man, I want to have sex with you on that sofa, and they are watching. She is a female. She can say no. You as a man, when you heard that, you are kind of exciting, no? You're like, I'm gonna have 10 people watching me having sex with this lady on the sofa.
Exhibition.
I don't know her. It's exciting for me. I'm going for it.
Yeah, it's definitely novel.
Might feel, I don't know.
But then there is a question of like the whole thing. Is it good or bad? Because naturally, almost like always, it's very naughty. Like it is naughty. We have the whole thing in sex like that's naughty. I think, look, if it's done, I mean, it's consenting. But then obviously you're going to get a lot of people going to these parties who are in relationships, who are married, and that's, But then they kind of think, oh, that's so naughty. They get turned on by that. People get turned on by being dark and mischievous. Like, that's how it kind of works. And you've really got to, like, control and I think the libido is a powerful thing. And it can definitely lead you to do a lot of good and a lot of bad. And it's up to you to be in control of what you do with that life force. Because that life force can be sexual, but it can also be not sexual. Yeah. It can be acting out in the real world as well. It's also the general life force for, like I think Freud believed it was more of a general sexual thing, but then Jung was, no, the life force isn't just sexual. It's more of a overall energy for life, And sex is one way to play with the energy.
Yeah, but, people who are doing this, they are now in a relationship. They are in an open relationship, if I'm not wrong, and that's not right.
I think the open relationship thing's a funny thing, man. I think
I wouldn't.
I personally wouldn't. Look, I could not be in a relationship with a girl and know that she's having sex with other boys. I couldn't do that. Not. That would, for me, that's like crippling to my masculinity. Like that's. I mean, look, fair enough if it's consenting. Overall, yeah, you might have a bit of fun. You can sleep with whoever you want, but really, I just don't think that's healthy in the long run psychologically. You might think it is, but that's not going to be good for your relationship overall. I'm sure there's some people who make it work completely, but for most people, I just don't see how that in the long run is gonna work. Especially when you have kids and things. Like, really, you think it's gonna work? I think you need to have a stable mum and dad for the kids.
Yeah.
They might call me old-fashioned, guys, but come on.
It's good to be old-fashioned. I'm old-fashioned too.
I'm old-fashioned in many ways.
I'm classic.
I would say I try and find the line of conservatism and progressivism, and I think that's what we all have inside of us. We all have things we need to stay and keep, conservative values, and some things need to move on and progress. And the whole thing is a war between these two sides. It's always some people are naturally aligned more to the progressive thinking or moving forward and breaking down old trends, and then you've got people who are more supporting what we need to hold up and stays constant because they believe that this is important for society. when we look at it like that, we realise that actually, yeah, it does make sense. You know, the whole society is almost like a mum and a dad. Like, we are the children of the great mum and dad of the country or the world. You know, you've got the great mother, the great father. And it's the dance between these two. It's almost like the left and the right wing are having a dance all the time with each other. And the dance can be bitter and there's toxic, or they can be more loving and they're coming together in a warm embrace, exchanging each other's energy in a lucid, liquid way. Yeah. And that's what we want. But the only way to exchange the dance is when we talk to each other. So guess what? If I have somebody on here who's of one political position or another political position, guess what? If we talk, we exchange our energy, we exchange our temperament, because it's not just ideas we're talking, we're exchanging energy. Exactly. And it's the energy which is almost affecting us like substances, because we are almost like a process of alchemy. We're like two chemicals interacting, and when we're with each other, we're exchanging energy. Just like sex. Sex is the same thing. Two chemicals reacting. It's the energy exchange you're experiencing there. It's not just a physical, mechanical act. This is what I think people would think. Sex is not just a material act of two people, of mechanically going. It's not that. It's not just in, out, in, out, in, out. It's a much deeper spiritual experience of an energy exchange. You're almost absorbing each other's souls, aren't you? You feel it. You feel like you're part of them in that moment, you know?
Yeah.
You know? And it's a funny thing how it all links together. Like when you say the coming together of two people, think about that. The coming together. You know, that's just weird how that synchronizes there. Coming together. That goes deep. Sorry about the little cut there. Mihai had to go on.
I had to do my thing, you know.
He had to do his thing. I'm sure you can imagine and think about what he was doing.
It's much better now. I'm like...
Wanking. Yeah, so...
No.
So look...
But yeah.
Sorry about that little interval there. Well, so I can't remember what we were talking about now, to be honest with you.
Let's start another subject. We were with the sex and the
we got deep in the sex. We got deep in the sex.
Yeah, but... We start with the 50 Shades of Grey, with the erotica, talking about the new movie, 365 Days.
Is that a new movie, is it?
You have to watch it, man. It's perfect, but you need to have a girl close to you, you know?
Yeah.
Because you might feel the energy. You get the energy from the...
Yeah, I have to. Well, I'm definitely into
He's
that. I'm definitely up for exploring, aren't I? So.
Powerful man who had this thing, like, he was almost dead, and he had this little... clips coming into his head, and he saw this face, the girl, you know, and because he was so rich, Italian mafia, Sicily, blah blah blah, he looked for her everywhere in the world, and he found her in Poland. She was Polish, and I was like, she didn't want to be with him because she already had a boyfriend, and she got kidnapped for 1 year.
By him?
By him, yeah.
Well, this is a proper, like...
I'll give you 1 year.
Legit kidnap.
To love me. I was like...
Well, so hold on.
That's cool, man. I want to... I like this girl, okay? So I'll take her. Okay. I'll give you 1 year to love me. It's cool.
But she got kidnapped by the guy. And she loved the guy for kidnapping him.
No, she didn't, but she accepted the idea, so she called her...
Was it like a playful kidnap, or was it like a legit kidnapping? Like...
I don't remember if it was legit.
Sounds fucking savage, mate.
Yeah, it is, man. It is savage. Like,
Jesus.
She was coming to his room to tease him and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he said, I'll get you it whenever I want. So I was like, fuck, man.
What sort of film? Who made this film? Like, was it a...
I don't remember.
It's not an English film, is it?
No.
Definitely not. It's just like...
So yeah. So this girl came into the room. He tied her up, like handcuffs and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he left her on the bench. He was like... Then another girl appeared. I was like, you don't get this. So he got that girl a very, very like fourth blowjob and stuff. And he was like, you see what you missed? You see what you missed? And she felt sorry, man. She had a little orgasm there. She had an orgasm. I was like, interesting. We should do this. It's not cheating. If you are there, it's not cheating.
I've got to watch myself this film, man.
Yeah, mate.
Sounds like mate. What is this on Pornhub, is it? What's this on? Is this on Pornhub, this, mate?
No. Mate, it sounds like porn.
Pornhub. God, it sounds very much like porn.
You know, cheers.
Cheers,
for the pornography.
No worries, mate.
And erotic.
Jeez.